Hello ladies and gentlemen, Xentaro here and welcome back to another video. Now I hope all of you are doing well because I am as always, and in this video I'm going to be explaining to you how to make infinite flight as realistic-ish as possible. Now I'm just going to state that I said realistic-ish because in all honesty I'm not a complete professional pilot. Believe it or not, I would be flying planes, not playing a flight simulator. So yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys what I do in infinite flight to make it as realistic as possible, and just really to make the whole experience more fun. Now there are many different ways to do it, and I've shown you guys some of my little tips and tricks before, but today I'm going to show you like more on the takeoff and on the ground procedure. Now I think it's important to spawn at a gate that's like sort of realistic for your aircraft. So you can see here we're in EasyJet Airbus A320, and I actually love this EasyJet livery. And we're just chilling at a gate at Gatwick. Now I'm pretty sure EasyJet don't really use the jetways at Gatwick. I feel like they're more likely to be on the apron, so I suppose that's already like a big number one mess up there for me. But I wanted to show you guys about the connection of all the ground services here. So it's quite nice to have all the ground services connected, and I wanted to use the jetway because I think it looks cool. So that's really why I'm here. Definitely not because I forgot. So yeah, I think it's really important to connect all of the ground services, etc. Now, normally you'd be on a live server, and you can use ATC, but I've decided for the to avoid just randomly spawning in on online servers and just like causing a little bit of chaos with ATC, I've decided to chill here at London Gatwick Airport. Debatably, probably my favourite airport out there. So here we are, we're just chilling and you've connected up your jetway. Now, flight plans are very important to being realistic. Now, you're going to want to use your SIDS and stars, and I've got a video out on them, I believe, somewhere. Just like Google SIDS and stars and then the channel name. But of course, you're going to want to use your departure SID. So for example, let's just stick a random one. Where shall we? Let's go to Paris. No, let's go north. So we're going to get a... if I can just find anyone that goes towards an airport. Right, we'll use this south one. There we go. So we're adding on this south SID here. And let's just imagine we go to Paris. So we're going to just go this random checkpoint here. And here is Paris, LFPG. I have no idea if British Airways if EasyJet fly to this airport. But, you know, they do today. And quite conveniently, there is a few stars nearby. So we're going to join one that's sort of northwest we are. So it's going to be one of these things. And we're going to none of them are going to work for us, which is quite annoying. So we're going to join one from the west. And we're just going to imagine we're going for 26B. So you're going to connect all that up. And then, of course, you'll use the arrivals on Charles de Gaulle. So we'll just find a random arrival one, select that, blah blah blah, it's done. So basically the point of that is you've got to use your SIDS and stars. So that's actually a really weird route to be taken from Gatwick for our small plane. Now the next thing, to be as realistic as possible, is to make sure your weight is realistic. Like if we're flying to Paris, we don't need 7 hours and 44 minutes of fuel. We really only need maybe an hour and a half at max, maybe 2 hours. I don't know what the actual like fuel is per your flight time that you need. I'm sure someone will know that, and someone will be able to tell us. And like keep your cargo realistic. So like if you got a fully booked aircraft like EasyJet will, you won't always be at maximum cargo because they have to pay for extra cargo. So maybe the cargo will be a bit lower. Whereas if you're British Airways, where you don't have to pay extra, maybe it's a bit more heavy, for example. So try and keep that. Again, you can just do stuff like that to make it as realistic as possible. Now, generally, when people are boarding, you won't have the catering joining, so that's a big oof there for me. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Now that's a really cool photo. So the next thing you want to do. So this isn't in order, but like when you're in the cockpit. Obviously, you don't want to use auto start, but you want the main battery on and the APU on start whenever the aircraft is on the ground. So pretty much, ground rule, whenever your aircraft is on the ground, on the runway, not even on the runway, I meant like anywhere but the runway, you normally would have an APU on. Unless, of course, both engines are running, but even then, you have the APU on after you land, and pretty much up until takeoff, I believe. What a lovely view that was. So make sure your APU is generally on. That's again a very important thing. And when you're in the cockpit, I believe nav lights are on. Now I'll talk about the other two lights in a minute, and of course seatbelts and non-smoking signs should be on. So I'm going to just detach all of the extra like random things here. so I can continue the next bit, but they're going to take just a little while. Now, like I said, it's very important to make sure you fly in an aircraft. There we go, free mode is now working. Fly in an aircraft that's reasonable for your route. So an A320 is a reasonable aircraft to be flying from London to Paris. However, it wouldn't be realistic if we're going to South Africa. For a start, EasyJet don't fly to South Africa. Hopefully they do, that'd be cool. Imagine like an EasyJet flying to South Africa. So you wouldn't be flying EasyJet to South Africa, for example, but you know, British Airways would. Whether they do from London Gatwick or not, I have no clue whatsoever. But yeah, I think that's a very important thing to be having there, is the EasyJet. So there we go. What an aircraft as well. It's such a stunning little aircraft, this EasyJet one. So that's a cool thing for them to be having, I guess. So right, we're gonna now do our pushback. So we're going to attach our target, turn that off, and just push back. Now, usually if there's ATC live, you'd talk to ATC and be like, yeah, I want to push back. Please can I push back? And then you do everything along those lines. So here we go. We're going to do a cheeky little push back. Now, generally you'd want to push back in the right direction. Now, I have no idea what runway we're scheduled for. 26 left, so we're going to want to be facing the way the camera is, and hopefully, you know, if this pushback target could like go a little bit faster, it would be greatly appreciated. Like, should we push back the aircraft ourselves now? Okay, let's go. Yeah, right. So once you fully push back, which we will have done in a minute, you're going to start one engine. Now I think it's engine 2 that you start first, and we're going to want to go that way. There we go. That is us in the right orientation now. So just keep on going a little bit, and a little bit more. And nearly there. And one more. There we go. Right. We have completed our pushback. So we're going to do that. Just detach the tug. Yeah, you can run away. Now, what you want to do, start up engine 2. I normally do engine 2. I don't know if that's right. And your beacon lights now come on because you're live. So again, realism. Or realisticism. Yeah, realisticism. Yeah, this is realistic. I can't even say it anymore. So that is, again, another thing you can do to make your experience way more realistic. And the E175 and E190, I believe they only taxi with one engine on. However, I tend to have 2 on for the larger aircraft. Again, I'm not a pilot, like I said earlier. I don't know. And then, for example, let's just press auto start. We're going to imagine all engines are up and running. I generally now set my trim and bring my flaps down to 1. Then once you're done with that, you can contact ATC and you're off for takeoff. So that is generally what I do when starting up the aircraft, to keep it as realistic as possible. I probably forgot some things, and I probably got a few things wrong. And if you think I did, let me know in the comments. But if you guys, as a general info-flight user, found this helpful for just trying to make the experience a little bit more real as possible, let me know down below. And hopefully you guys found this really helpful. But if you're new here, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Good night.